Paris is such a luxury destination, making it hard for a budget-conscious micro-traveler like me to even consider exploring. But as I started diving into options and working around my budget, I learned that creativity really helped me manage my limitations and effectively use them to my advantage. Stick around as I share how I managed to enjoy Paris modestly. With any destination, researching what to expect is the ultimate start. This will give you an idea if the destination you chose actually aligns with your travel goals. The more you research, the more you will find related videos and blogs that will either get you immersed and interested or repulsed by the thought of being there. Paris has always been a dream of mine since I was a young adult, and I have watched countless vlogs and documentaries to the point that the moment I arrived, everything felt familiar. Almost like my spirit has been here and my physical body has finally caught on. It felt like Paris was waiting for me. I did not only watch the good parts of Paris, I also watched vlogs showing the reality that it is a busy, bustling city where you'll find what you usually find around downtown streets. I also looked into the most common scams and tourist traps like pickpockets so that I could prepare fully and be aware of my surroundings without sacrificing my enjoyment and amazement. If you don't like figuring things out, especially if you're only in Paris for 3 days and have a fully packed day, Uber is the best way to get around. Uber and walking. I'm from Toronto and I used to work and live downtown at one point in my life, and until now, for the life of me, I can't remember all the exits. South exit, east entrance, all these things stresses me out, and I don't want to bring on that stress when I'm in Paris only for 3 days. So I created an itinerary in where I group attractions within the same area. This way I only Uber when necessary because usually I just walk around to get to destinations anyways. I also feel safer in an Uber than a subway or metro, mostly because I can trace the driver and Uber have their information. To be extra safe, I use the PIN feature on Uber where you give the driver the PIN to ensure that this is indeed the card that Uber matched you with. Tour packages are great. They usually help you skip the line and they explain lots and lots of things about the sites you'll visit. If this is something you're into, tours are a great option for you. But if you're like me, I want to be more agile. I want to go on my own pace and skip things that doesn't interest me. You can't do this with a tour. I want to be able to linger and marvel on things I like and just breeze through the rest that doesn't interest me at all. Here's what I've done so I still know the details about the attractions and places I'm checking out. I've watched virtual tours and documentaries about the attractions, mainly the major ones like Versailles, the Louvre, and Opéra Garnier. I really wanted to know the story behind them, so I watched many things prior to getting there so I can appreciate them more. Essentially, it's like connecting the dots from the documentary I watched to the real thing as I amaze myself at the beauty and opulence around me. A timed ticket is much cheaper than the tour. Sure, you'll have to line up like the rest, but I'm willing to do that so as long as I can go at my own pace, especially since I packed my day with activities. The only two tours that I did were the night bus tour and the Seine River cruise. Both of them were totally worth it. Since I'm only in Paris for 3 days, I knew I didn't want to spend my time and money sitting at a restaurant just because I packed my day with activities. But if eating is what you came to Paris for, then absolutely yes, explore restaurants. I was laser focused on destinations. Also, I am gluten-free and dairy-free. I don't eat eggs, and also I don't drink coffee, tea, or any alcohol. So yeah, my choices are very limited, especially along Paris streets. Which is why I brought my own gluten-free and dairy-free cheese, crackers, and tons of snacks. When I arrived, I went to Monoprix nearby and got 3 packs of prosciutto, olives, sparkling water, and honey, and I made my own charcuterie platter. I brought made good cookies for my desserts. Yes, I romanticized my day. I also picked hotels that have nearby grocery and convenience stores. You'll see Monoprix, G20 Marché, Franprix, and Carrefour around the area. They have great food selections. Some of them even have lots of gluten-free and dairy-free options, which I was totally surprised about. There are also Monoprix locations around Galerie Lafayette that have a salad bar where you can buy your protein and your veggies at a super affordable price. I got mine for almost €4 and it has salmon, cucumber, quinoa, lentils, and tomatoes. And honestly, it was such a good and quick meal for me. And you can eat it either in store since they have chairs and tables, or you can hang somewhere and eat. Which leads me to my next tip: choosing hotels. I picked hotels based on the price and location. I stayed around the ninth arrondissement, again close to most things, including Galerie Lafayette and other grocery stores. I got both hotels from the Happy Culture franchise. I got R. Kipling and Hotel Cervantes. All the links for these hotels are in the description below. I loved both rooms since I got a city view and a balcony overlooking the streets of Paris. And I totally loved the vibe, waking up to sunshine and hearing the birds chirping. The hotels I stayed at stored my prosciutto, ham, olives, and other things, and they even offer coffee, tea, lemon, water, breads, croissants, and other snacks in the lobby. If I weren't gluten-free, I could have totally enjoyed those free croissants all day, all night. Just need to buy jam and butter. Of course, this depends on the weather, and since I've traveled to Paris in March, the first thing I did was to spray my shoes with waterproof spray and packed my foldable umbrella with bag in my tote. This truly helped me through walking through the crowds and the cobblestone steps, even when it's raining, because my socks were dry the whole time. I also wore lined leggings because I wanted to be able to move freely while still keeping warm. I also had my winter coat with me since it was cold in Toronto when I left. I had it on anyways. I also had to make sure I had my earmuffs and gloves to keep me warm the whole time, especially when I sat on the outer deck when I went on the Seine river cruise. It goes without saying that a comfy and bouncy shoe will help you power through the day. I got a Nike sneaker that's a little elevated so the water doesn't get in even when there's some puddle around. I got a tote with all my snacks, water, umbrella, tripod, camera, and all other necessities. But I also got a Lululemon body pack where I kept my wallet and passport. For my phones, I've always had this lanyard phone case that have always served me well. This has been used so much and I love them. I also have this alarm button with a little flashlight that I got from Amazon. I have this for a while now just for peace of mind. What it does is you can pull the string in case of an emergency and it will make an alarming sound. The sound is so loud, like it's like a car alarm. Since I got two phones because I use the other one to film, I have lots of battery packs I carry around. I don't like those big bulky ones because I want to be able to hold both of them together in my hand just in case I'm using my phone while I'm charging. Hotels usually have USB ports that you can use for charging. However, I still bought a European plug just in case so I can charge anywhere like a coffee shop, at the mall, or any restaurant for that matter. I also had one credit card specifically for traveling and I keep it in the pocket of my fanny pack. I use it for daily purchases because it has a low limit and I can easily tap so I can pull it out and put it back much quicker. My major credit cards are inside one wallet that's attached to the fanny pack. This way, I don't have to open my wallet every single time. Another thing I don't like using really is tapping my phone for payment when traveling. I want to keep all international purchases in a separate credit card. This also ensures I only spend within the low limit that I've set. I get transaction and balance alerts on my phone anyways, so I can track my spending in real time. Okay, so there's a lot of souvenir shops on the streets, especially close to the main attractions, and there are also gift shops inside the main attractions. And since I'm very budget conscious, I knew I wasn't going to give shirts or anything big. Not only that I'm budget conscious, but also I have a small carry-on luggage. So I had to plan before I went there and budgeted about 3 to 5 euros per person, and that's going to be for multiple small gifts. So when I went to Basilique du Sacré-Cœur, I knew some family members would like a rosary, and I found some small ones for 4 euros. When I went to Versailles, I saw bookmarks for 2 euros, and I have bookworms in my family that I know will make use of them. And I also got street sign magnets. I got them from the street shops for 2 euros each. The street signs I got were mostly Champs-Élysées and Tour d'Eiffel. For my kids, I got an Eiffel Tower toothbrush for 6 euros and a macaron Eiffel Tower keychain for 4 euros. My husband, I got an 8 euro Paris hat, and for me, I got a 4 euro Paris tote bag. I'm not really big on shopping anymore, and I was so focused on attractions and soaking in all the history, opulence, architecture, vibe, and beauty around me. On my first day, I wanted to slowly get around to know the area and just wanted to take it all in. So I went to Basilique du Sacré-Cœur first, then went to the grocery store to buy food for the next 3 days. Like I mentioned earlier, the hotel stored them for me, so I was able to enjoy them for multiple days. I've also seen a lot of advice on how you should not pack your day with too much activities, and you should only do a few attractions a day. Well, obviously that doesn't work for me. Again, I'm pretty agile. I want to be able to move fast. Because I've already researched and looked into a lot of these attractions, it was a matter of confirmation for me and soaking in moments. Here you can see what I planned for each day. I made this itinerary on Canva, and the addresses I put in there are actually linked to Google Maps. So when I click on them, it takes me to Google Maps right away. I did the Louvre and Versailles on the same day and still had some time to kill in between, and I honestly wished I booked more things to do. But I also enjoyed me sitting on a monoprix, drinking sparkling water, and snacking. Just know how much walking you can handle and the pace in which you can go, and use it as your gauge on how many activities you plan and where. Going places that are around the same arrondissement will help you with walking and easier navigation. This will also save you Uber costs. Attractions like Versailles need an Uber ride on its own, as it's not walkable because it's all outside Paris. I had to make sure I have a list of washrooms in the area just in case. So far, I didn't use any of them. I drank my water before arriving at any destination and made sure that I went to the washroom, the toilet, before I left. Galerie Lafayette is one of the places that I use the washroom more than once, mainly because it's clean and it's free. The washroom is on the 6th floor. Yes, you heard it right, it's on the 6th floor. You have to go up and make your way by following the signs. No one really questions you. I didn't buy anything from there, but I went in to use the washroom multiple times. Which was funny because, side story, on my way down, I saw a closed-up section with lots of people and noticed that Emily in Paris is actually shooting there. How cool was that? So I just looked at the scene for a few minutes and then moved on with my life. I did not plan on eating at any restaurant, but I forgot to go to the washroom before I left the Seine River cruise because I didn't want to miss the 8 p.m. Eiffel Tower sparkle, so I ended up needing to go badly. I walked around to look for smaller cafes, but they're full and their menu doesn't give anything remotely gluten-free and dairy-free, which I expected, so I walked around a little bit more and found a restaurant, and their menu had mussels and french fries with a drink, and it was about 20 euros. And at this point, my bladder is going to explode, so I had to take it in and sit down. Dinner was great. It was literally just mussels with herbs and spices, and it was warm, and I felt like the universe brought me to that place to slow down a bit since it was my last night in Paris. Went back one last time at the Eiffel Tower to say goodbye before I went home. If you're taking an Uber, make sure you specify the pickup location. Although Uber will ask you about it anyways, it's important to know which street you're actually at. For example, if you're at the Louvre and you ordered an Uber, it will ask you which side you're standing on. Not just the side, but also the intersection. I found that if I'm at a big landmark or attraction, I walk around a little and find a hotel. Any hotel or restaurant for that matter, and then I stand there and use it as my pickup location, so there's just no confusion. You're standing right at the front and your Uber driver can find you much quicker and easier. I've learned this after I had to cancel a ride because I was standing on the opposite side of the big attraction, and it was a long street that goes around, but I was on the wrong intersection. Since then, I walk to hotels and restaurants that's nearby and set that as my pickup location, so it has been so much smoother. Note that some will not drop you off right at the front of your destination. Usually, I will not agree to this, obviously, but when in Paris, I want to take in as much walking, so I take it because it gives me a chance to walk around and see more places. I specifically booked a day and night cruise so I can tell the difference and shoot more shots. I decided to do sunset and then nighttime. Well, the plot twist was sunset was so beautiful. So the first half was sunset, and then when we finished, it was already nighttime, and it was magnificent, majestic, marvelous, shining, shimmering, splendid. Good thing that's what happened, because when our boat returned to the dock, the line was ludicrous. When I got there at around 5:30, the line was very manageable. We hopped on the boat and started around 6:50-ish p.m. On that day, Google said sunset will be around 7:20 p.m., which was pretty accurate. We docked around 5 minutes before 7, and right at 8, the Eiffel Tower sparkled, and it's like it sparkled for me as I was walking out of the dock. It was a pretty nice thing to do, I'd say. I didn't bring my tripod outdoors. I only brought the stabilizer so I can shoot more stable shots just in case it gets windy. Also, side note, Versailles doesn't allow you to bring a selfie stick. Even if you sneak it in, the moment you use it, the staff will approach you and ask you to put it down. Now, anyways, I digress. Back to the Eiffel Tower photos. I'm not mostly into posed shots. I do like spontaneous shots and videos where I'm not looking directly at the camera. So this side of the street is a great view of the Eiffel Tower. I placed my camera on the windowsill and I shot videos while walking around, dancing, or if you'd like some pose shots, you can also do that as well because you can screenshot that later. I don't like being with the crowd so much. I did the shoot around 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and it wasn't as crowded as it was when I passed by at 8 p.m., which I was totally happy about. I was initially thinking of investing in a photographer, but I realized again, I can't be agile enough to change my mind and move around different locations.
Oui, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
I don't speak French, but I do know general words, mainly because I'm from Canada and it's required to have the French translation for any product or sign, which is why signs, ingredients, and labels are pretty familiar to me. I don't know all of them, but generic terms I do know and I do understand. I did take a few French lessons way back, so I can pick up words in conversations, but not able to speak them back. Greetings are essential. I feel like that's for every country and every situation. Bonjour is always a great start. Since most of the things are booked online, like hotels and Ubers, it's very rare that you'll have to go into a heavily deep French conversation exchange. If it's something really important, you can whip out Google Translate. But honestly, I have not encountered a situation like this since most of the places I went to spoke pretty decent English since my French is really bad. Tickets are better bought when they are timed, as there is a separate line for them. A long line, but much faster than the ones that are not timed. I bought my tickets from Get Your Guide and also straight from the attraction's website. I have linked all of them in the description below. I also printed them all and have the mobile ticket on my phone. In the midst of lineups and security check, having a paper ticket that's ready to show is easier than having my phone out and unlocking it. I found that the paper helped me move along faster as it's in my pocket the whole day together with my itinerary. Don't forget to check if your tickets are valid. Some days, museums are closed. Get Your Guide has been very helpful for me, especially when it comes to reviews and destinations. But I also did my own research and realized that some attractions are better off getting from its official website. Also, some of the Get Your Guide packages are vouchers, which means you have to exchange them to get the actual ticket. Check the fine print to see if it's the actual ticket or a voucher.
Have to be your biggest fan, and when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.
Every person is different. Every traveler's goal is different. Whether you're a tourist, explorer, wanderer, long stayer, foodie, attraction-focused, backpacker, layover tripper, or a micro-traveler like me, you will be presented with challenges and surprises. Know which ones to power through and which ones to let go. And mostly, which ones to embrace and make it into a funny and memorable story. Everything is a learning experience. Let yourself discover more of yourself as you go through these unexpected challenges. It helps to be graceful and kind to yourself. Whatever you choose to do, make sure it's good for your soul.
But now